To create this stitch, you're going to be working with the inside line and the outside line of the drawing. And when you first start, you're going to come up through the top edge of the drawing. And if I do that right now, the knot of my thread will get in the way. So I'm going to start a little further away so that the knot is not in the way. So now I'm going to come up from that top edge of the design, and then I'm going to make my first stitch. I want to make sure that my needle is always above the thread, and I'm going to pull through, but I'm going to leave a loop. So now I'm going to create the next stitch, and then I'm going to bring this thread under the needle, and then I'm going to pull it, and as I pull it, the stitch will wrap around the needle, and then I'm going to pull the needle through, making sure to always leave a loop. I'm going to go right beside the previous stitch. Then I'm going to bring this around, and I'm going to pull it. Like that. And then the needle goes up. And if you find this is a bit loose, sometimes you can kind of pull it like this, and it'll help to tighten it. And always make sure that the threads are underneath the needle. So this will go under the needle here, and then I pull it. Pull that through. And if you want an even tighter look, you can put the threads even closer. And then pull the needle through. So I'm going to keep working on this stitch, and then I'm going to show you how to add another piece of thread when you start to run out of this thread. So you have your needle threaded with some new thread, and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to start a little further away from where you want to be so that the knot isn't in the way. So I'm going to come up from that spot where I want to be, and then I'm going to create my first stitch. Making sure that I'm above the threads. And then what you're going to do is actually pull this thread. So make sure all the thread is underneath the needle. So there's the original loop there. So then you're going to pull this thread. And then this, I'm going to show you what to do with afterwards. Then you're going to pull this up, and then create your loop here. And then do your next stitch. And then you just continue on like you were before. So we're going to pull this one now. So that gives you a nice sort of seamless transition when you're adding the thread. You just kind of keep going. So I'm going to stop at this point here. I'm going to make the needle go through all the way. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to deal with that little loose bit. So I'm going to just pull this through, but still leave my loop because I'm going to come back and do the next stitch. I'm going to undo my needle. So here's that tail that was left over from when I switched the threads. You're going to rethread that onto the needle and then just stitch through to the back like this. I'm going to flip this over and then I'm going to do a finishing knot. So I'm going to take the needle and go underneath one of the stitches here, and it's going to form a loop, and then I'm going to take my needle and go through the loop and then just pull it. And one should be fine, but if you want to, you could do another one just to give it a little bit more security. And then once you've done that, you just clip it. So I flipped it over and you can see that part here that I've gone underneath is not visible anymore. So all I have left is my threads here to kind of continue with my stitching. And the way I finished that is also how you would finish it when you've done all your stitching on your design.